Yeah. So I can do that. Um, when you're reporting any specific incident related to flying the aircraft to a government agency, you're extremely careful about being direct or drawing a direct reference to someone doing something wrong. You're a lot more general, uh, perhaps, if you will, softer in your references, because the point of it is not to indict anyone. The point of it is to bring out the circumstances. Whereas, if you're writing the same incident to internally within the department, you would be a lot more specific towards individuals uh, for the same purpose, to come to be conclusive about how it happened, why it happened, and who do you think caused it to happen. And that's the difference. Yes, there's one, and I don't think you touched on it, although I understand what you did touch on, and that is when you report to a government agency. I don't think you mentioned that. So when you're reporting an incident to a government agency, U.S. government agency, that becomes a whole different thing. Right. So yeah, so when it comes to a government agency, let's just give a scenario. Uh, the aircraft, while you're flying it or commanding it, violates a certain rule, air regulation rule, inadvertently. The opportunity after that is to write that up to a government agency, and under a already established federal program that gives the flight crew, and they're immune to any follow-up prosecution because they reported it voluntarily. At the same time, the crew may elect to send me an email as chief pilot to tell me what happened and maybe go further than the immunity perspective and actually say, well, this happened because so-and-so did this, and I told them not to do it, or they shouldn't have done it, whatever. So that becomes a different perspective. And that's really the dual dimension of it all. Yeah, they're really two different things. One, when you're reporting to the government, you don't have to be specific about who did it. You know, be specific about maybe how it happened, uh, all the observations the flight crew can provide, versus an internal discussion, which could be more subjective or biased, if you will, uh, and open to naming naming a person that caused the potential incident. Yeah, yeah, no, there is. There's either government or private industry guidance literature, if you will, that is always uh, available by subject. It's in nature training literature, but it can include actual incidences that have been related by other flight crews. Uh, and it's critical because it gives us as pilots the exposure to someone else's almost misfortune, if you will, without us actually going through it ourselves. So somebody else goes somewhere and something happens, or they do something and something happens, coincidentally or intentionally, then that information can come back to the community in the form of an educational instrument. Exactly. And inversely, the experience of others can come back to me in the same way.